I now see why bodies usually despawn in games. Like, wow. Decision. It's a game about zombies in the same way Doom is a game about demons. The only living person within 100 kilometers is the dude you're playing as, and he is just demolishing an entire city full of zombies by himself. There's something about being a one-man army that's very attractive to everyone's inner sociopath. Almost all games place you in the role of main character, but to directly plop you in a field against an army and to give you tools to absolutely massacre them, it just feels slightly more main character than usual. I should note, I was given a free game. I think I have to say this. Someone from Flyanville asked me to talk about the Legacy Collection. I said yes, so they gave me a Steam key for it, and one for Red Days, but that's for later. That's all I got. If I was bigger and had more confidence, I would have asked for money, but I was consistently picked third last for gym class, so I was never going to do that. Plus, I was going to talk about decisions sooner or later. This just moved it up a bit. I had plenty of fond memories here. The core combat is a top-down arcade shooter. But what I remember the most is, strangely enough, the game's progression system. The end goal is to completely cleanse the city. There's 7 main areas. Every section has a tower. Every building has 3 levels. A stronger tower in a section means that area's danger level will increase slower with each passing day. A day passes when you play any mission type. Difficulty in mission scales depending on existing threat of the place you're headed to. Recon missions are you making first contact with a city section. The goal here is to scout. This is often the mission with the most zombies. Makes sense. Prey animals do skyrocket in population until someone that can hunt them shows up. Cleanup reduces danger level by 40% and you just have to kill a bunch. Tower assault reduces danger by 25% and you just have to kill a bunch. You also need to do this to actually see more areas of the city. Tower/factory capture means finding a big generator, defend that for a bit, and you now own this property. I wish you could do this in real life. Tower/factory upgrade is just defending the generator again. It's the shortest and easiest type of mission, and sometimes nobody even shows up. You can also switch the weapons on a tower. It plays the exact same as an upgrade. Every area except the first has a factory that gives you money on a daily basis. It shows up as gold, but in my head, it's always been something along the lines of a resource/material stockpile. Cause, well, nobody else in this city is alive. There's a, for now, very simple skill system. You have 4 weapon types and 4 character abilities. The mechanic skill unlocks the higher tier of buildings. Health is health, stamina is movement speed, and melee increases fist damage. You have shotguns, machine guns, grenades, and rocket launchers. You actually start with a pistol, but you ditch it as soon as you get a shotgun. I also immediately ditched the other weapons once I got my hands on the bazooka. Rage mode is a thing that happens if you deal or take enough damage. The guy lets out a roar and starts firing at double speed. It's a simple but good way to translate an adrenaline rush into a game mechanic. Also, you get more money for each kill in rage mode. I didn't exactly test this, but I'm assuming the opposite happens in real life. I've mostly talked about the background systems, but actual gameplay is very fun. It captures the essence of being a one-man army. The zombies aren't pushovers all the time. They come in groups, and later areas have giant zombies and zombies that can straight up use guns. A couple of these guys can stagger combo you. You will be caught off guard. If you want an excuse for those moments, the camera is a bit awkward. It moves far slower than your character, so sometimes you just won't even be able to see the 4 dudes pointing guns at you. The camera seems to be built for the game's recommended control scheme, which I found very strange to move in, so I just stuck to WASD. Excluding the camera, the game in general is much more polished than you would expect. The sound effects are perfect and reinforce how much destruction you can cause. The music isn't super standout, but it knows its job is to be background music and it does its job well. Everything is distinct enough for combat. You can easily tell what's going on most of the time. The game has a cool red scale coloring that gets abandoned later for something more generic. The core combat is very enjoyable, but I think the systems are what makes the game here. The city map puts it all into context. It's a cool feeling to take back a city by yourself, but the gameplay alone would not be able to convey that. Gameplay by itself is just a top-down shooter. The city map and systems around the map are what makes you feel like you're clearing an entire city full of zombies. Decision 1 has a really good core. Decision 2 is basically a DLC patch for 1, and I'm completely fine with that. In the first game's ending, your guy just is not satisfied and decides to start again with a different city. When I was younger, I thought I got like the bad ending or something. The sequel is just the first game again, but with some new stuff scattered about. I mean, okay, that's what most sequels are, but it applies here a bit more than usual. There's now a mastery level with each weapon. You increase mastery by using the weapon, and higher mastery means a higher damage bonus. It's basic video game stuff. Grenades and mines are officially secondary weapons now. They reload in the background and activate at a button press instead of a mouse click. The rocket launcher has been nerfed, and it takes quite a while to get to it. So by the time you do, you likely already maxed out the mastery level of a different weapon, making it much more preferable. In my case, it was shotguns. Weapons also give you gold at different rates. This was used as a balancing mechanic. Killing a zombie with a missile gives you 20% of that zombie's value. Killing zombies with a shotgun gives you 70%. The pistol is the weakest weapon in the game, but it's also the best moneymaker. There's some new enemies. There's a zombie that carries an explosive barrel on its back. I think he may actually be on your side, cause he's very good at getting his friends killed. Werewolves are a thing. They have jumping attacks and can occasionally catch you off guard. I don't know why they're here, but sure, I guess. There's one, technically two, new mission types. Tower defense happens when zombies in one area invades another. The fast as all hell dogs are very annoying here. Towers are slightly more complicated. You can mix and match your heavy weaponry now. Plus, you can install grenades and mines. Two new zones come with survival mode. These areas are outside the reach of any of your towers and can never be controlled. Zombies here are unending. In the mid-game, this area is a struggle. In the endgame, this area is a gold farm. The city now has findable loot. ATMs vomit cash, and hiding spots will give you some pennies. There's a few new skills and some remixed mechanics. You have a radar to help catch any stray zombies. You have a rage virus attack that makes zombies attack their friends. This thing will see much more usage later. You can now sprint. Rage is an unlockable ability you can upgrade, and you can press V to taunt all zombies. The areas you fight in are just a bit better designed. You can see your towers being active without you when exploring nearby areas. A bunch of defensive structures are scattered around the city. There's a bunch of ATMs and hiding spots in random corners. The areas in general are bigger, and you fight bigger hordes of zombies, which does make you feel more powerful. This time around, your guy is satisfied with how he took back the city, even if it doesn't seem that different from before. I ranted about some details, but the gameplay and systems of Decision 2 is not all too changed from 1, and it doesn't need to be changed. When you find a good gameplay core, you build around it. It might morph ever so slightly with time, but the baseline skeletons of the system will always be present. Decision Medieval has much more radical differences compared to its older siblings, but you can't say the core of the series has been changed. Taking place 500 years before the other games, zombies are apparently just a half-millennia tradition in this world. Also, orcs now exist, and they have a separate kingdom. The giant zombies we saw in the previous games were straight up just zombified fantasy trolls. The explanation for the werewolves is that they are part of the orc kingdom, which honestly makes even less sense. So, like, are they an assimilated tribe or just a subspecies of orc? Taking place in the Middle Ages, you fight with mostly melee weapons. Bows and crossbows still exist, but those are now your only range option. I personally really like using the fast as all hell knife. And basically ignored all the other melee weapons up until the sword and shield. To be fair, the knife being the first weapon gives it the pistol effect, where you get the most money per kill out of any weapon. But it attacks so fast that it's actually quite a decent mid-game option. There's honestly less variety in the melee weapons than you would think. It's all, this weapon is slower but deals more damage per hit. The game makes up for it by having way more skills, although in my playthrough, I screwed up because I missed one of the masters and beat the game without them. I did not get the final set of weapons and skills until after I 100%ed the map. You don't get all of your skills at once. You need to find and escort a master to an area's tavern. Each master unlocks a set of skills and weapons. The game has been recontextualized into its medieval setting. They use medieval siege tech instead of heavy firearms. Instead of a radar, you have an ego companion that scouts for you. Instead of ATM hacking, it's lockpicking random chests scattered around the map. Although like hacking, max level lockpicking is shown as a precise kick. Instead of landmines and grenades, it's bear traps and makeshift bombs. Instead of rage virus infused bullets, it's poison tipped arrows. Factories are now mines and no longer produce gold, just supplies. They also increase the danger level in a section when upgraded. There's a fair amount of new stuff and some mechanics have been shifted around. Skills are slightly more melee focused, cause obviously, you have a jumping attack that knocks down enemies, there's a skill that makes your sprint deal damage, and armor sets are here. The later sets will make you tanky but will also slow you down. Wearing no armor gives you a speed boost. Sprinting is now beholden to a stamina bar. Supplies are a new currency that's exclusively used to improve towers and mines. There's a new building, the barrack/tavern. You train local guards here. Like the towers, stronger guards means a slower increase in danger. You will occasionally encounter NPCs throughout the map. When building towers or mines, you need to find at least 3 workers to even start. Occasionally you'll find civilians. There's a merchant guy that'll give you a gathering quest, and sometimes a night patrol will pass through the area and kill some dudes for you. It's quite different from before. Instead of being completely alone, you're helping a kingdom fight back. I mean, they don't say much, but it beats complete isolation. They can be pretty stupid. Half of them can't fight, and they sometimes just run directly into crowds. Thank God being in your party makes them immortal. Hordes no longer travel between areas. It's now a local uprising you need to quell. Towers are a bit different. You have a few more toys to play with, but the controls feel off. Towers always had some lag in their aim, but it's a bit extreme in medieval. Zombies are tougher now, at least for the early game, and the orcs can actually pose a threat during mid-game. Your character is still an absolute monster in the endgame, as he should be. A new capture type poison has been added. This will turn the orc/zombie completely friendly to you, but can fail. I did not use this much because one of its unlock conditions was to get all masters, the one time I decided to not compulsively explore a map. Poison is very good for lasting forever in survival mode, cause a lot of bosses spawn, meaning you have plenty of chances to get some new pets to face tank for you. The 2 survival areas have different gameplay. One gets to keep being a survival mode, while the other is now a 3-way war between the humans, zombies, and orcs. I do think the war mode is cooler, but it's not endless and it's actually timed. Once you reach a certain kill count, enemies stop spawning. Aw man, out of paint. There's a lot of little differences and shuffled mechanics in medieval. I think most of them have been for the better. It serves as an updated formula for the game's core. And in Decision 3, that update has been brought to the modern setting. They try to have a bit more of a direct story. The guy now has a name, the Sergeant. Okay. This city has groups of survivors that have sorted themselves into classes. Clearing 2 cities worth of zombies have made you a bit of a local legend. This old guy recruits you to do a three-peat. Most of the mechanics from medieval have been ported over. Survivors are scattered throughout the city. You need workers to even start a tower or factory. Each area now has a barracks where you train the local militia. Your skills and weapons are locked behind finding inspectors. One of them is the rock. The map is split between zombies and orcs again. I guess orcs just exist now. Supplies are also here, but they now have a cap that you reach very easily. You increase the cap by finding storehouses throughout the city. Each storage unit barely increases the cap. This doesn't really matter. Every time you exit the game, your supplies get reset. I don't know why it's like this. The resource economy in general seems kinda messed up. I'm short on gold far more than usual, but supplies are almost always at capacity. Factories mostly produce supplies and it all goes to waste. Gold isn't even the thing that gatekeeps the most. Survivors are now a resource and are required for all building upgrades. Soldiers are constantly needed to improve towers and barracks. Builders and engineers are needed to improve factories. Rangers and captains are best put directly in your field squad, but towers now have a wide variety of optional add-ons, some of which require a ranger or captain. Here's the thing, you don't get a lot of survivors by playing the game. The initial recon of an area can net you a decent group, but those missions aren't repeatable. The other missions don't get you many team members. The best way to get people is to ramble in areas you have already cleared, which will take a day, and you'll just be wandering. The best place I found was West Side 1. It doesn't help that it's random which type of survivor you get, and they seem dumber. This just feels like padding. I don't like how the systems here have turned out, and it affects other parts of the game. You need so many survivors for the baseline upgrades, you can forget about the optional add-ons. If you wanted to max them out, you would have to spend half the game wandering a map with nothing to fight. The thing is, the tower defense missions are balanced with at least some of the optional add-ons in mind. Like, even if you have a full set of heavy weaponry on a fort, your weapons just feel incredibly flimsy. This is more of an issue in the endgame. If you only have the base upgrades for a tower and none of the optional stuff, some of the endgame hordes feel impossible. If you do have a bunch of add-ons, it feels too easy. Later on, I just started to ignore defense missions. They just weren't fun. At least they control better than they did in Medieval, but I think they need to be rebalanced a bit. Boots on the ground missions are more fun anyway. The messed up resource system makes the progression of 3 feel a bit sluggish and tedious, but I find the main bulk of the combat still very enjoyable. The gameplay loop is as solid as ever. There's a new boss that tries to give you the people's elbow, and the 3 strongest bosses can no longer be infected with a rage or control virus. Endgame is tougher entirely because, oh shit, they have bazookas now. There's also this orc in SWAT gear that I'm pretty sure has more health than some bosses. I love the pistol here. It deals a good amount of damage now and you get more money from it than any other gun. It does get replaced later with the objectively better pistol plus riot shield that counts as a separate weapon, but both of them get overshadowed by the best weapon in the game, the knife that was imported from Medieval. It has one of the highest base damages, it's the fastest weapon by far, and best of all, you get 300% more money when you stab something with it. The universe has collectively decided that there's only one joke that involves knives, and I've already made that joke. That's about all of it. The flamethrower is the only entirely new weapon, and I never used it. We didn't get any new skills, but I think that's fine actually. We already have plenty, and feature bloat is a legit issue in some games. The bulk of the new stuff came with the survivors, but I don't think they were implemented well. Again, the game is still fun, and I can't fault 3 for experimenting. Fly Anvil Studios is still actively making games. Red Days is the modern continuation of the series, which I will eventually get to. It's not directly a Flash game, but it is very much related. There's still a lot more stuff on the list. I will get through it all eventually. Hi. Next is Warfare or maybe Spiral Knights.